Today I'm looking at two nearly identical pens that feel completely different in my hand. This is the Pilot Capless Matte Black, sold in the United States as the Vanishing Point. And this is a clipless Majohn A1, also in matte black, with my Pilot writing unit inside. The retractable design is useful, but the clip made this pen surprisingly difficult for me. People often say that the clip should be comfortable if you use a standard tripod grip. I use that grip, yet it is still uncomfortable for me. The reason is the angle of the nib, but before I show you what happens in my hand, let me explain why I wanted this pen to work. For quick notes, I can extend the nib with one hand. When it retracts, the shutter seals the opening. Pilot says this prevents leakage and drying, and my pen has usually started without hesitation after sitting unused. The matte black finish suits the mechanical character of the pen. The body, clip, nose, and buttons stay within the same dark palette, so the unusual shape looks restrained. According to Pilot's current Japanese catalog, the painted barrel is brass and the retractable nib is 18 karat gold. Mine has a fine nib. At 30 grams, the pen feels noticeably substantial in my hand. Unfortunately, the clip does more than complete the shape. It also controls how I have to hold the pen. The clip sits near the nib and rests between my thumb and index finger. For many people, it works as a useful guide. When someone finds a capless uncomfortable, the usual explanation is an unusual grip. That does not quite fit me. My fingers form a normal tripod grip. But finger position is only part of holding a fountain pen. I naturally rotate the pen a little farther counterclockwise than many writers seem to. At that angle, the nib meets the paper in the way that feels right to me. If I straighten it to match the clip, I feel a slight scratching sensation. That does not necessarily mean the nib is defective. The sweet spot can feel different with changes in rotation, paper, ink, and pressure. With an ordinary round pen, I simply rotate the body until the nib feels smooth. With a capless, the clip reaches my fingers before I reach the position. The problem is not merely a piece of metal touching my hand. The clip limits the angle at which I can use the nib. I could adjust my wrist, elbow, paper angle, or posture until the nib meets the page correctly with the clip centered. But posture and pen rotation are habits developed over years. Changing one part affects the page position and tension in my hand and arm. I could train myself to use it as designed. But a pen bought for convenience was asking me to monitor my posture whenever I wrote. The question was whether I wanted to change a long established habit for one pen. That is why the capless was so difficult to adapt to. So instead of changing how I write, I started looking for a way to remove the clip. I found several online guides, and at first I wanted to try it myself. But they called for tools such as specialized pliers, which would cost more than I expected. Even with the right tools, I had no guarantee that I could remove the clip without scratching the matte black finish. Here in Korea, a clipless Majohn A1 costs only around $25. Rather than buy the tools and risk permanently marking the Pilot, I bought the A1 in matte black and left the original body untouched. I bought the extra fine version of the A1, but I never used the Majohn nib. The clipless body was the reason I bought the pen. The A1 closely follows the retractable layout of the capless. When I looked into it, owner reports and independent reviews indicated that the Pilot retractable writing unit would fit inside the A1 body. I removed the complete nib unit from the Pilot and placed it into the clipless A1. With my two pens, the swap was straightforward. The result is a hybrid, the clipless matte black body and mechanism of the A1, with the 18 karat gold nib unit from my Pilot. The difference is immediate. Without the clip, I can rotate the body counterclockwise until the nib reaches the position that feels natural to me. I no longer have to choose between a smooth nib angle and comfortable fingers. My grip, posture, and nib have not changed. I have only removed the physical limit that prevented them from working together. Most importantly, I did not lose the convenience that made me want the capless in the first place. I can extend the nib with one hand, begin a quick note without a cap, and retract it immediately. In my use, the A1's internal shutter has also done a good job of keeping the nib from drying out. There are trade-offs. The clipless A1 has a small raised roll stop positioned away from the grip, which keeps it from rolling away. But without a clip, it cannot be secured in a pocket or pen loop. I also have to accept that this is no longer a complete pilot pen. If the clip falls naturally between your fingers, I would choose the original Pilot. You get its complete mechanism and gold nib as one finished product. The official Japanese price for the matte black version is currently 33,000 yen including tax. If the clip feels wrong, first ask why. Look at your fingers, the direction of the nib, your wrist, and the paper angle. Two people can use the same tripod grip and rotate a pen differently. The clipless A1 may suit someone who needs more freedom to rotate the body. A Pilot nib unit can preserve the feel of the Pilot nib, but this remains an unofficial combination with risks and compromises. For me, it was worth it because the A1 body lets a Pilot nib meet the page at my angle. If the capless feels completely natural in your hand, I would like to know how you use it. Please tell me in the comments where the clip sits between your fingers and whether you rotate the pen at all. None of this means that the original capless is a bad design. Its one-click operation, internal shutter, and understated finish make it extremely practical. And yet, practicality is personal. A clip that guides one hand can restrict another person's nib angle. A standard grip does not guarantee a standard posture, and years of habit do not disappear easily. Pilot already offers gold, silver, and black clip finishes as a matter of personal taste. Perhaps the presence of the clip could be a choice as well. A pocket clip still makes sense for someone who carries a pen in a shirt pocket. But for people like me who carry pens in a case, the freedom to position the pen may be more useful than the clip itself. Perhaps Pilot should consider offering a truly clipless capless. The clipless Majohn A1 is not an official Pilot product, but it let me keep my grip, my posture, and the Pilot nib while allowing the pen to rotate freely. For my hand, it may be the most usable form of the capless idea. Thank you for watching.